Hi, everyone. So, for this week's listening and learning review, we are going to reread our first story of Domain 7, which was all about kings and queens. So, we are going to be rereading the story called What Are Kings and Queens? So, before we get started, I'm going to go over a couple vocabulary words that you're going to hear in our story. So, one word you're going to hear is the word kingdom, which is a place ruled or governed by a king or a queen. All right, another word you're going to hear is royal, which is anything that belongs to the king or queen or other members of their family, such as a prince or princess. All right, one more you're going to hear is the word rules, which mean leads and makes decisions. So, like your parents would rule your household. Okay? All right, so let's get started. Now, it's hard because I can't show you the pictures that go along with the story, so I just want you to use your imagination as we go. All right, let's get started. So, first, we're going to talk about a palace. Can you believe that this is actually someone's home? Well, it's not just any home, it's a palace. This palace used to belong to a queen of France. What do you think it's like inside? It must be nice if it were built for a queen. In fact, this palace has 440 rooms inside. As the leaders of their countries, kings and queens often have the biggest and best homes in the land, known as palaces or castles. As the leader, the king or queen rules a particular area of land and the people who live there. This area of land is called a kingdom. There used to be many, many kingdoms in the world. Today, however, there are not as many kingdoms or kings and queens as there used to be. It's good to be king. That's an old saying, and if you look at this king, whose name was King Richard II of England, you begin to get the idea of why this saying holds true. If you walked into a palace in England 300 years ago and saw this person, you wouldn't have any trouble guessing he was a king. As the most important and powerful people in their kingdoms, kings and queens always got the best of everything: the best houses, the best clothing, and the best food. Kings did not have to say please and thank you. They didn't even have to dress themselves. They had servants to do that for them. Pretty much everything a king or queen used, touched, or owned was called royal. The soft, fluffy robes King Richard II wore were the royal robes. The cup he drank from was called the royal cup. And if it was royal, that meant that only the king, queen, prince, or princess, or someone else in the royal family was allowed to use it. So in this picture, King Richard II is holding two things. In one hand, he is holding the royal orb, and in the other, he is holding the royal scepter. All right. So these are ceremonial objects. So they're things that the king wore or held to remind people that he was in charge. So the hat that he is wearing is called his crown, which is no ordinary hat. Crowns were usually made out of some type of precious metal like gold or silver and decorated with fancy jewels like rubies and emeralds and sapphires. These jewels were called the crown jewels. Like the scepter and orb, the crown was an important symbol of the king's power. So the crown King Richard II wearing is made of gold and loaded with fancy pearls and other jewels. A hat like this would not be good for keeping the sun out of your eyes, and it wouldn't be very good at keeping your head warm. But if you were wearing it, it meant that you were the king or queen, the ruler of a kingdom. All right, so I want to incorporate a little bit of art in with our story this week. So I would love for you to draw yourself as a king or a queen or a prince or a princess. So that can include you can be wearing robes, whatever you think you would look like as a prince, princess, king, or queen. You can draw a crown, decorate it however you'd like, and please, once again, send in any of your photos. I love to see them, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Bye, Gators.